What is the full form of CSIS organization? A. Center for Skills and Intermediary Studies. B. Center for Skills and International Studies. C. Center for Strategic and International Studies. D. Center for Strategic and Intermediary Studies. The correct answer is Center for Strategic and International Studies. Which among the following is false about the Defense Science Board? A. Defense Science Board comprises of technology and business experts. B. Defense Science Board is a federal advisory committee for the U.S. Department of Defense. C. Defense Science Board researches for the FCC. D. Defense Science Board is identified that using spectrum multiple dimension can reduce spectrum scarcity. The correct answer is Defense Science Board researches for the FCC. What are the recommendations proposed by CSIS for the improvement of spectrum management? A. Establish fixed norms for proposing spectrum management algorithms. B. Establish research consortium to support the government and private sectors. C. Establish fixed regulations for spectrum sharing. D. Establish fixed regulations for spectrum sensing. The correct answer is Establish research consortium to support the government and private sectors. Which among the following instigated a review of spectrum policy at FCC? A. Establishment of Spectrum Policy Task Force. B. Establishment of Research Consortium. C. Collaboration with Federal Aviation Administration. D. Collaboration with the American National Standards Institute. The correct answer is Establishment of Spectrum Policy Task Force. Which among the following is the official U.S. regulatory body for the RF spectrum? A. International Organization for Standardization. B. Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. C. American National Standards Institute. D. Federal Communication Commission. The correct answer is Federal Communication Commission. Which among the following factors hinders effective spectrum usage according to the SPTF? A. Lack of spectrum access. B. Lack of antenna technology. C. Lack of physical components of radios. D. Lack of high-capacity processors. The correct answer is lack of spectrum access. Which among the following areas will not have an impact on cognitive radio? A. Maximize the flexibility of spectrum usage. B. Promote spectrum access in rural areas. C. Apply a qualitative approach to interference management. D. Allow easement for spectrum overlays and underlays. The correct answer is apply a qualitative approach to interference management. Which among the following is a problem addressed by CSIS? A. Shortage of short-range plans. B. Lack of common spectrum testing techniques. C. Challenges in negotiating international spectrum agreements. D. Construction of flexible spectrum management infrastructure. The correct answer is challenges in negotiating international spectrum agreements. Which among the following is not addressed by the study conducted by Toffler Associates in 2001? A. Spectrum management. B. Technological impact of cognitive radio. C. Long-term strategies for spectrum sharing. D. Methods of spectrum reallocation. The correct answer is technological impact of cognitive radio. Which among the following are the recommendations proposed in the Spectrum Policy Initiative created in 2003? A. Spectrum Sharing Innovation Test Bed and Spectrum Sensing Tools. B. Spectrum Sharing Innovation Test Bed and Spectrum Management Tools. C. Cross-Layer Innovation Test Bed and Spectrum Sensing Tools. D. Cross-Layer Innovation Test Bed and Spectrum Management Tools. The correct answer is Spectrum Sharing Innovation Test Bed and Spectrum Management Tools. What is the purpose of Spectrum Sharing Innovation Test Bed? A spectrum sharing innovation test bed sets aside a portion of the spectrum for testing. B. Spectrum sharing innovation test bed determines terrain suitable for testing. C. Spectrum sharing innovation test bed creates environment models for testing. D. Spectrum sharing innovation test bed constructs conditioned chambers for testing. The correct answer is Spectrum sharing innovation test bed sets aside a portion of the spectrum for testing. The calculation of relative values of consumer services compared with scientific investigation and Earth exploration is a challenge imposed on policymakers by the mobile transmitter-mobile receiver configuration. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is false.